Good morning, I'm Maddie Jansen, and this is the podcast of 17 News at Sunrise. It's everything you need to know to start your day in about 15 minutes. New at Sunrise, Kern County firefighters are investigating yet another fire at an abandoned house, this time in Oildale. KCFD says the fire broke out around 11 last night at a home on Decatur Street between Wells Avenue and California Street. When firefighters arrived, they saw flames coming out of the back and the roof of the house. Firefighters say there were initial reports of people inside, but the house ended up being abandoned.
Extensive search. We did not find anyone inside.
No word yet on what sparked the fire. 5:02 now. Highway 178 is back open, as I just mentioned, this morning after a crash shut down the canyon for hours last night. It all started around 8 p.m. The CHP says a semi was pulling a double trailer loaded with hay. The rear trailer veered off the edge of the road and spilled hay bales across the road. No one was hurt, but the CHP was forced to shut down Highway 178 in both directions while crews cleared the road. And all that road work is paying off, literally. The city of Bakersfield says the Centennial Corridor project is on its way to completion and no bonds are needed to finish it. The Centennial Corridor project is 4 phases. Eventually, it will connect Highway 58 to Highway 99 and the West Side Parkway. The final phase of the project will build the freeway connector as well as access ramps to Route 58 and 99. The city recently received a $50 million grant from the U.S. Department of Transportation. That means the city doesn't need to borrow money to finish the project. It's expected to be finished in 2020. Meantime, crews are now laying down false work to start building the new connection for the 99 and 58. For the next 2 weeks, construction will be happening over Weible Road as crews prepare to build a new bridge to connect northbound Route 99 and eastbound Route 58. Anyone traveling that way can expect stops by flaggers from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. The Thomas Roads Improvement Project says delays can take up to 10 minutes. Well, the promise of better roads with an increased gas tax isn't coming true just yet. That's according to new data from the Federal Highway Administration. The agency says the number of California bridges falling into the poor to fair category is on the rise. 7% of bridges statewide are now rated in poor condition. That's a 25% increase since the gas tax went up 12 cents a gallon back in 2017. Critics say California has stockpiled more than $3 billion of new tax revenue, while so far spending only $121 million in bridge and culvert projects. One Bakersfield representative says the performance is unacceptable.
Californians are tired of paying more and getting less. And what we're seeing in the report is while more and more is being asked of California motorists to pay more to the state of California, the actual backlog of infrastructure projects that need to be fixed continue to grow.
The state gas tax is set to go up again July 1st. When that happens, drivers will be paying about 5 cents more per gallon. The Kern County Sheriff's Office is investigating a gruesome discovery near an old East Bakersfield restaurant. We first brought you this story last night as breaking news on 17 News at 5. Yesterday afternoon, deputies found a man's body on Potomac Avenue right near the old Laconia Mexican restaurant. Deputies blocked off the area for several hours. KCSO hasn't released any other details about the investigation. 5:05 now. Measure N, the 1 cent sales tax increase passed by voters in November, is now in effect across Bakersfield. Last night, the Measure N Citizens Committee voted on where they want the city to spend that money. 17's Kara Hua was there and explains how this will impact your wallet.
Last night could best be described as a marathon meeting, a discussion that took 4 hours but ended with a vote on where your taxpayer dollars could be going.
$58 million, how much the city estimates they'll earn from a new 1 cent sales tax increase.
The measure does not apply to the sale of most grocery items, prescription medicines, pet food, gas, electricity, and water that is provided to most homes and businesses.
And of the $58 million, city departments asked for a total of $56 million to be allocated over the course of the next fiscal year.
Their primary purpose was to determine that the proposals were consistent with the ballot measure.
After a vote, the committee unanimously recommended $20.4 million to bolster the police department and $3.3 million for the fire department. Also all yeses, $14.7 million to combat homelessness, including creating emergency bridge housing. Another unanimous vote, $1.1 million for public works, projects that propose changing nearly 3,000 streetlights to LED lights, which the department says will last longer, improve safety, and save the city more than $100,000 annually. Also passed $2.5 million to help hire 126 new positions, primarily across law enforcement. And for Parks and Recreation, they narrowly passed a $7.8 million Mesa Marin Sports Complex. Regardless of the vote, some committee members were uncomfortable with approving a budget before funds from the tax actually came in.
It actually became a concern of more and more committee members that felt that we were spending every dime of the $58 million, and we wanted to see some of that money set aside in reserves because in 2000, as I pointed out, in 2006, people were humming along and taking out second mortgages on their houses. 2 years later, we had a recession, and the same thing could happen to us 2 or 3 years from now.
Staff actually agreed with their commentary on reserve levels, that they need to be increased over the next 3 years.
Ultimately, this panel is just an advisory committee. City Council has the final say in how the money is spent.
City Manager Tandy says the City Council will make final decisions on allocation on Friday, June 28th. I'm Karen Hua, 17 News.
The city of McFarland is getting ready to say goodbye to its police chief. After more than 3 years at the helm of the McFarland Police Department, Chief Scott Kimball is headed to the other side of the county. He's going to be the new Arvin police chief. Kimball will replace Jerry Breckenridge, who became the Arvin city manager. On Thursday, the city of McFarland is hosting a farewell celebration to honor and thank Kimball. It's happening from 5:30 to 7 p.m. at the McFarland Veterans Community Center. A badly hurt dog left at the Bakersfield Animal Care Center took a bit of a downturn. Someone dropped the pup off, known as Lucky now, at the shelter Thursday. His eye was badly hurt. He was infested with maggots and his legs were matted together so he couldn't walk. A veterinarian performed emergency surgery Friday morning. Lucky was on the mend, but yesterday shelter volunteers took him to Stern Veterinary Hospital. Vets there will run tests and do all they can for Lucky, and we'll of course keep you updated on his progress. A woman instrumental in helping to forge the Bakersfield sound has died.
Because nobody pays attention to the women in country music.
That's Inez Savage back in 2007 at a tribute concert in Bakersfield for the First Ladies of Country. The arranger, singer, and manager of local groups was a close friend of Merle Haggard and Buck Owens, among many others. The Bakersfield Californian reports she died last Monday, March 25th. She was 85 years old. A visitation is planned at Hillcrest Memorial Park and Mortuary on Thursday at 4 p.m. There will be a celebration of life at Hillcrest Friday afternoon from 2 to 3 p.m. That will be followed by a musical celebration at the Stockdale Moose Lodge on Stein Road. Well, the warmer temperatures means it's time to dust off your bike and start riding. But before you do, make sure your bike is in good working condition. Last night, Bike Bakersfield held a mechanic workshop. The shop plans to do so every Monday this month. It's a chance for riders to learn general bike maintenance, repairs, and more.
If your bike's not working right, you can't stop, your gears aren't working, that causes a possibility of an incident to happen. So you want to make sure that your bike's always running good.
The workshop is free for Bike Bakersfield members and $10 for people who aren't members. The next one is Monday night at 6:30. Welcome back. Drivers may notice they're paying more at the pump as gas prices around town continue to go up. Here's a look at some prices we caught around Bakersfield. According to our gas tracker, the current average price in Bakersfield is $3.46. That's actually lower than the average last week, but it's 22 cents higher than last month. According to our KGET gas tracker, the cheapest gas you can find right now is at the 7-Eleven at the corner of East Brundage and Fairfax. People living in the Kern River Valley who are looking for work have a shot at landing a job this week. The Kern River Valley Job Fest is happening Thursday at the Kernville Lodge. It's running from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Job seekers are encouraged to dress for success and bring at least 50 copies of their resume. The barbecue factory is almost ready to fire up the grill. The longtime steak and rib restaurant has moved to a new location, not far from its old home on Rosedale Highway. Owner Bill Allison bought the old Cactus Valley restaurant and remodeled it to suit the needs of his meat-loving customers. The restaurant is also adorned with the work of well-known Bakersfield photographer Greg Iger. The barbecue factory's grand opening is Thursday. In some cases, it's easier to get your credit card company to drop fraudulent charges than it is to get your bank to drop fraudulent charges on your debit card. While fraud is always a possibility, being careful about where you use your debit card can help you avoid trouble. In today's Consumer Watch, Meredith Wood has a look at four places consumer experts say you should be on high alert.
Be careful where you swipe your debit card. The risk of fraud is everywhere, but experts say certain places are more dangerous than others. So here are 4 risky places to avoid. Number 1, outdoor ATMs. Bankrate says thieves can easily capture your bank card information by running it through a skimming machine that's installed over the real card reader. Instead, experts recommend using an ATM inside of a retail outlet where that's less likely to happen. Number 2, gas stations. Bankrate experts say they're a danger zone because they're less secure and transactions require very little supervision. Cash or credit cards are the best ways to pay at the pump. Number 3, online purchases. Bankrate experts say this may be the most dangerous place to make purchases, saying there's potential for hacking at many points during a transaction. And number 4, bars and restaurants. So just think about it. You give your card to the server, the card leaves your hands for a while, and you have no way of knowing whether your card's information was copied while it was gone. Safeguarding your payment information means staying alert at all times. For Consumer Watch, I'm Meredith Wood.
Thanks for listening to the podcast of 17 News at Sunrise. It's a 15-minute summary of everything you need to know about Kern County. There's a new episode every weekday.